The foundation role for farmers and agriculture. Federal necessity and the establishment of the USDA, the People's Department. The establishment of the United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, is deeply rooted in the historical centrality of food, land, and the rural economy within American society. The USDA was formally created in 1862 by President Abraham Lincoln, a leader with his own rural background and a keen understanding of agricultural necessity. When the agency was first established, its core mission was to provide farmers with an improved environment and advanced agricultural knowledge so that they could efficiently feed the burgeoning American nation. Initially, it functioned as an independent commission, but due to its rapidly growing importance, it was elevated to cabinet-level status in 1889. It earned the affectionate nickname, the People's Department, because its work directly impacted the lives of every citizen, from the consumer to the producer. During this foundational phase, the USDA's role was focused almost exclusively on practical issues, enhancing crop yields, introducing new and resilient seed varieties, and combating widespread agricultural diseases that threatened national food supplies. The symbiosis of agriculture, economy, and food security. The U.S. government has historically recognized that a robust and stable food system is the fundamental underpinning of both national economic strength and political stability. The USDA is the federal entity entrusted with maintaining this vital system, protecting the producer and ensuring stability. For much of modern history, farmers have been the most vulnerable demographic facing extreme market volatility and devastating natural disasters. The USDA's role is critical in mitigating these risks. Farm commodity programs and the safety net. The USDA administers various farm commodity programs designed to provide a financial safety net for producers. These programs are essential to ensure that if a farmer suffers from a low harvest or if market prices crash below the cost of production, they do not face immediate bankruptcy. This stability, in turn, guarantees a consistent food supply for the nation. Federal financial assistance through the FSA, the Farm Service Agency, FSA, operating under the USDA, provides crucial funds and loans to farmers and ranchers across the country. This financial assistance is not solely for business expansion. It is also a necessary source of support during periods of financial distress, such as droughts, floods, or unexpected disease outbreaks. Furthermore, the FSA works to support new and beginning farmers, helping to ensure the next generation can access the capital required to enter the demanding agricultural sector. Empowering research and innovation. A significant portion of the USDA's budget and mandate is dedicated to scientific advancement through its various research arms, most notably the Agricultural Research Service, ARS. This is the premier in-house research agency for the department. The ARS is responsible for tackling the most complex challenges facing American agriculture, including genetic improvement, developing new crop varieties that are more drought-resistant, require less water, and are naturally immune to common pests, thereby reducing the need for chemical pesticides. Soil health and sustainability, conducting research on practices that improve soil fertility and reduce soil erosion, linking agricultural productivity directly to environmental stewardship. Animal health, investigating and controlling infectious animal diseases, which is vital for both livestock production and public health, zoonotic diseases. This commitment to science and technology is what allows U.S. agriculture to remain one of the most efficient and productive in the world, capable of producing enough food not just for domestic consumption but also for significant global trade. Ensuring the American table, food safety and human health. The mandate of food safety, from farm to fork. The United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, holds the critical and pervasive responsibility of ensuring that the vast majority of food products consumed by Americans are safe, wholesome, and correctly labeled. This monumental task involves regulating millions of pounds of food daily, from the point of harvest and slaughter to the consumer's plate. The USDA's commitment to food safety is non-negotiable, acting as a final line of defense against pathogens, adulteration, and misbranding that could endanger public health. The role of the Food Safety and Inspection Service, FSIS. The primary operational arm for this mandate is the Food Safety and Inspection Service, FSIS. The FSIS is a regulatory public health agency responsible for ensuring that the nation's commercial supply of meat, poultry, and egg products is safe, correctly labeled, and packaged. Continuous presence in facilities. Unlike many regulatory bodies, the FSIS maintains a continuous, day-to-day presence in slaughterhouses and processing plants. Federal inspectors are required to examine animals before and after slaughter, antemortem and post-mortem inspection, and monitor all subsequent processing activities. This constant oversight is essential for immediate intervention if contamination or unsafe practices are detected. Preventative control systems. HACP. The FSIS mandates the use of hazard analysis and critical control points, HACP, systems. HACP is a science-based, preventative approach where processing facilities must identify potential physical, chemical, and biological hazards, like Salmonella or E. coli, and establish critical points where those hazards can be controlled or eliminated. FSIS inspectors audit these systems rigorously to ensure compliance, thereby shifting the focus from simply reacting to contamination to actively preventing it. Public health protection and pathogen reduction. The USDA's food safety mission is intrinsically linked to public health. The reduction of foodborne illness is a primary goal, requiring constant adaptation to new threats and advances in food science. Microbiological standards. The FSIS sets strict performance standards for pathogen reduction in meat and poultry processing. These standards are periodically reviewed and tightened based on the latest scientific data and the incidence rates of foodborne illnesses. For instance, the agency continuously targets pathogens like Salmonella and Campylobacter in poultry products, which are common causes of illness. Residue monitoring and testing. The USDA also operates comprehensive residue monitoring programs. These programs test meat, poultry, and egg samples for illegal residues of veterinary drugs, pesticides, and environmental contaminants. This ensures that the use of necessary chemicals in agriculture does not result in harmful levels of residue remaining in the final food product consumed by the public. Beyond inspection, nutritional assistance and education. The USDA's role in human health extends far beyond mere inspection. It includes actively promoting nutrition and combating food insecurity across the nation through its Food and Nutrition Service, FNS. The FNS manages a suite of federal programs designed to provide low-income individuals and families with access to healthy, affordable food. Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, formerly known as food stamps. SNAP is the cornerstone of the federal nutrition safety net. It provides financial benefits to eligible low-income households, allowing them to purchase food items at authorized retail stores. SNAP benefits not only support the health of recipients but also inject billions of dollars into the retail food sector, thus boosting the agricultural economy. National School Lunch Program, NSLP, and School Breakfast Program, SBP. These programs ensure that children from low-income families receive nutritious meals while at school. The USDA sets stringent nutritional guidelines for these meals, ensuring they meet specific calorie, fat, and micronutrient requirements, thereby addressing issues of childhood hunger and poor nutrition which can impede academic performance and long-term health. Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children, WIC provides specific nutritious foods, nutrition education, and healthcare referrals to low-income pregnant, breastfeeding, and non-breastfeeding postpartum women, and to infants and children up to age 5 who are found to be at nutritional risk. WIC is a highly effective, preventative health program that is instrumental in improving birth outcomes and long-term child development. Stewards of the land, conservation and natural resources management. The dual mandate, production and preservation. The United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, holds a unique and often challenging dual mandate to promote the highest possible productivity of American farms while simultaneously acting as the chief steward of the nation's private agricultural land and vast public forests. This role requires balancing intensive food production with the long-term preservation of natural resources, including soil, water, air quality, and biodiversity. The USDA's commitment to conservation is rooted in the recognition that without healthy land, sustainable agriculture is impossible. The conservation movement and the Dust Bowl legacy. The modern conservation efforts of the USDA were fundamentally shaped by the devastating Dust Bowl era of the 1930s. Years of intensive farming practices, coupled with severe drought, led to massive soil erosion, turning large swaths of the Great Plains into unproductive wasteland. In response, Congress created the Soil Conservation Service, SCS, now known as the Natural Resources Conservation Service, NRCS, which remains the USDA's flagship agency for land and resource management on private working lands. The NRCS's founding principle is to provide voluntary technical and financial assistance to farmers and landowners. Its goal is not regulatory enforcement, but cooperative partnership, helping producers implement conservation practices that benefit both the environment and their long-term bottom line. The Natural Resources Conservation Service, NRCS. The NRCS is crucial for translating scientific soil and water data into practical farming solutions. Its key programs offer tailored solutions to environmental challenges. Environmental Quality Incentives Program, EQIP. This program provides financial and technical assistance to farmers and ranchers to implement structural and management conservation practices on their land. EQIP targets specific resource concerns, such as improving water quality, reducing soil erosion, enhancing habitat for wildlife, and conserving energy. Examples include installing filter strips along streams, developing nutrient management plans, and planting cover crops. Conservation Stewardship Program, CSP. CSP is the largest conservation program in the United States by acreage. It rewards farmers who are already implementing strong conservation practices and encourages them to adopt advanced, comprehensive conservation systems that improve the overall health and condition of their entire operation. This shifts the focus from fixing problems to proactive, whole-farm environmental excellence. Agricultural Conservation Easement Program, ACEP. ASEP works to permanently protect productive farm and ranch lands and restore and protect critical wetlands. Easements are legal agreements that restrict certain non-agricultural uses of the land, ensuring that highly valuable working lands remain available for farming and that sensitive wetlands are maintained for ecological functions like flood control and wildlife habitat. Managing the national forests and grasslands. A separate but equally vast component of the USDA's conservation portfolio is the management of public lands through the U.S. Forest Service, USFS. The USFS oversees 193 million acres of national forests and grasslands, a massive public trust comprising 8.5% of the total land area of the United States. Multiple Use Doctrine. The Forest Service operates under a multiple-use, sustained yield mandate. This complex balancing act requires the USFS to manage these lands simultaneously for 5 major objectives: timber harvesting, grazing, recreation, watershed protection, and wildlife habitat. For example, a national forest must sustainably manage its timber resources while ensuring that the same area remains pristine for hiking, protects the local water supply, and maintains a healthy population of deer or elk. Wildfire management and suppression. In the modern era, wildfire management has become one of the USFS's most resource-intensive and critical functions. Climate change and historical forest management practices have led to increasingly severe fire seasons. The USFS is responsible not only for suppressing active wildfires but also for preventative measures, such as prescribed burns and forest thinning, to reduce fuel loads and protect human communities and critical infrastructure. Water supply protection. National forests are often referred to as the nation's water towers. They serve as the headwaters for many of the major rivers and streams that supply drinking water to millions of Americans. The USFS's management practices, from road building to recreation control, are heavily geared toward protecting the quality and quantity of these crucial watersheds. Empowering rural America, rural development and infrastructure. Bridging the divide, the rationale for rural development. The United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, recognizes that the vitality and security of the entire nation depend heavily on the strength of its rural communities. While urban centers often capture the bulk of media attention and private investment, rural areas are the bedrock of the country's food, water, and energy supply. The USDA's Rural Development, ROAD, mission is dedicated to improving the quality of life and fostering economic opportunity in these non-metropolitan regions. This mission addresses the historical imbalance where rural areas often lag behind urban centers in terms of access to essential infrastructure, modern communication technology, and quality services. The goal of ROAD is not simply to provide aid, but to empower rural communities to be self-sustaining, economically competitive, and attractive places to live and work. This commitment manifests across 3 core areas: housing, essential services, and business development. Housing stability and community facilities. One of the most foundational ways the USDA supports rural America is by ensuring access to safe, decent, and affordable housing. Rural areas frequently face challenges related to aging housing stock and limited access to conventional mortgage financing. Single-family housing programs. The USDA offers direct loans and guaranteed loans for low and moderate-income individuals and families to purchase, build, or repair homes in eligible rural areas. The Direct Loan Program, Section 502, is especially crucial, as it provides payment assistance to make homeownership a reality for those who cannot get credit elsewhere. By strengthening homeownership, the USDA helps build long-term equity and stability within communities. Multifamily housing and rental assistance. Recognizing the need for rental housing, the USDA also provides loans and rental assistance to developers who build affordable apartments for the elderly and low-income families in rural settings. This ensures that the essential workforce, such as teachers, nurses, and farm workers, can afford to live in the communities they serve. Community Facilities Program. This critical program provides loans, grants, and loan guarantees to develop essential public services and facilities. These are foundational elements of a functional community, including healthcare clinics, fire stations, schools, libraries, and public safety infrastructure. By funding these facilities, the USDA directly enhances the social fabric and institutional quality of rural life. Infrastructure. The digital and physical backbone. A primary challenge facing rural America in the 21st century is the digital divide and the need for modern, resilient physical infrastructure. The USDA's road is at the forefront of addressing these gaps, providing the critical capital investment required to modernize these systems. Water and environmental programs. WEP is perhaps the oldest and most fundamental infrastructure program. It provides crucial funding for the development of clean drinking water systems, sanitary waste disposal, and storm drainage systems. These projects are essential public health measures, often serving small, financially constrained communities that lack the tax base to finance large utility upgrades on their own. Electric programs. Rural electrification remains a core function. The USDA provides loan guarantees to finance the construction and improvement of electric power generation, transmission, and distribution facilities. Increasingly, this funding is directed toward modernizing the grid, implementing smart grid technologies, and incorporating renewable energy sources like solar and wind power into rural utility cooperatives. Broadband telecommunications programs. Addressing the digital divide is a major priority. The Reconnect program provides grants and loans to bring high-speed internet service to unserved and underserved rural areas. Access to high-speed broadband is no longer a luxury but an essential utility, critical for education, telemedicine, running modern farm operations, and enabling small businesses to compete globally. Fostering business and economic diversification. Rural economic development efforts focus on creating, retaining, and expanding jobs and businesses to ensure rural economies are diversified and resilient, rather than solely dependent on agriculture or a single industry. Business and Industry, B&I, Loan Guarantees. The B&I program provides loan guarantees to commercial lenders, encouraging them to provide credit to rural businesses that might otherwise be considered too risky. This support facilitates job creation and the expansion of small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, in manufacturing, service industries, and value-added agriculture. Value-added producer grants, VAPG is designed to help agricultural producers increase the value of their raw commodities. This might involve funding for processing equipment, e.g., turning raw milk into cheese, or raw grain into specialty flour, or marketing costs. By encouraging value-added production, the USDA helps farmers capture a larger share of the consumer dollar, rather than just selling bulk commodities. Fueling progress, research, education, and economics. The bedrock of innovation, agricultural research. The United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, is not merely a regulatory or service-oriented agency. It is a global leader in agricultural science and innovation. The USDA's extensive research enterprise is the driving force behind the productivity, safety, and sustainability of American agriculture. This scientific backbone ensures that farmers have access to the latest knowledge, technologies, and practices needed to meet the challenges of a growing population, changing climate, and evolving consumer demands. Without continuous investment in research, the nation's food system would stagnate, losing its competitive edge and its capacity to ensure food security. The Agricultural Research Service, ARS. The Agricultural Research Service, ARS, is the USDA's principal in-house research agency. It operates hundreds of research projects across the country, tackling an incredibly diverse range of topics from genetics and nutrition to pest management and bioenergy. Crop and livestock improvement. ARS scientists develop new crop varieties that are more drought-resistant, require less water, and are naturally immune to common pests and diseases, thereby reducing the need for chemical inputs. For livestock, ARS focuses on improving animal health, genetics, and welfare, leading to more efficient and humane production systems. This includes research into vaccines, feed efficiency, and disease surveillance for threats like avian influenza and African swine fever. Food quality and safety. ARS research directly underpins food safety standards. Scientists investigate new methods to detect and eliminate foodborne pathogens, improve food processing techniques to retain nutritional value, and develop innovative ways to extend the shelf life of fresh produce, reducing food waste. Natural resources and sustainable systems. ARS conducts critical research on soil health, water conservation, and greenhouse gas emissions from agriculture. This includes developing no-till farming practices, precision irrigation technologies, and methods for sequestering carbon in agricultural soils, all contributing to environmentally sound and sustainable farming. Nutrition and human health. Research on the nutritional composition of foods, the impact of diet on human health, and the development of dietary guidelines also falls under ARS. This scientific data informs public health recommendations and helps combat chronic diseases related to diet. Empowering through knowledge, education, and extension. Beyond direct research, the USDA plays a vital role in disseminating scientific knowledge and best practices to farmers, rural communities, and the general public through its partnerships with universities and land-grant institutions. This educational mission is critical for ensuring that research findings translate into practical applications. The Cooperative Extension System. The Cooperative Extension System is a nationwide network of educators, researchers, and volunteers, jointly funded by the USDA, state land-grant universities, and local governments. Established over a century ago, its purpose is to extend university-based research and knowledge directly to communities. Farmer education and technical assistance. Extension agents work directly with farmers to help them adopt new technologies, improve soil management, enhance pest control strategies, and navigate complex regulations. This direct, localized support is invaluable for improving productivity and sustainability on individual farms. Youth development. 4-H. The extension system also operates the 4-H program, one of the nation's largest youth development organizations. 4-H teaches young people practical life skills, leadership, and agricultural knowledge through hands-on projects, fostering the next generation of farmers, scientists, and community leaders. Family and consumer sciences. Extension provides educational programs on nutrition, food safety, financial literacy, and healthy living to families and individuals, particularly in rural areas, improving overall well-being. Informed decisions, economic analysis and data. The Economic Research Service, ERS, is the USDA's source for economic information and research on agriculture, food, the environment, and rural development. ERS provides objective, applied research and analysis that informs policymakers, agricultural producers, and the public. Market analysis and outlook. ERS analyzes trends in agricultural commodity markets, forecasting prices, supply, and demand. This data is crucial for farmers making planting decisions, policymakers crafting trade agreements, and businesses in the food supply chain. Policy evaluation. ERS evaluates the economic impacts of USDA programs and policies, assessing their effectiveness in achieving goals related to farm income, food security, conservation, and rural development. This evidence-based analysis helps refine and improve government programs. Food consumption and nutrition. ERS research on food expenditures, consumption patterns, and the economics of diet helps policymakers understand the factors influencing food choices and the effectiveness of nutrition assistance programs. Rural Economy Research, ERS, provides in-depth analysis of economic conditions and trends in rural areas, including employment, income, demographics, and the performance of rural industries. This research guides rural development initiatives and helps address disparities between rural and urban economies. Global reach and future focus, cooperation and adaptation. Interagency coordination, a network of federal responsibility. The United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, operates within a complex web of federal authority, meaning its mission often overlaps with and requires close cooperation with other government agencies. While the USDA is primarily responsible for agricultural production and food quality, the protection of public health and the environment requires seamless coordination with entities focused on broader mandates. This interagency cooperation is vital for effective governance and ensures a unified response to large-scale issues like food safety scares, environmental crises, and international trade disputes. Partnering for public health and the environment. Food safety and public health, FDA and CDC. Although the USDA's FSIS inspects meat, poultry, and certain egg products, the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, regulates virtually all other food products, including seafood, produce, and packaged goods. The two agencies maintain detailed agreements to clarify regulatory boundaries and cooperate during recalls or disease outbreaks. The USDA also works closely with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, to track and investigate foodborne illnesses, allowing for rapid identification of contamination sources. Environmental protection, EPA. The USDA's conservation programs often intersect with the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA's clean water and air mandates. For instance, the USDA provides technical assistance through the NRCS to farmers implementing nutrient management plans, directly supporting the EPA's goals to reduce agricultural runoff and protect watersheds. Collaboration ensures that farm policies meet environmental standards without unduly burdening producers. Trade and foreign policy, USTR and DOS. The Foreign Agricultural Service, FAS, coordinates extensively with the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative, USTR, and the Department of State, DOS. This ensures that U.S. trade policies, international negotiations, and food aid strategies are aligned, maximizing market access for American agricultural products and ensuring the humanitarian distribution of food. Global influence and diplomatic outreach. The reach of the USDA extends far beyond U.S. borders. The agency is a powerful force in global agriculture, food aid, and international policy development. American agriculture is a major global player, and the USDA leveraged this influence to promote stability and ethical standards worldwide. International standards, Codex Alimentarius. The USDA plays a leading role in setting global food standards through bodies like the Codex Alimentarius Commission. By advocating for science-based international guidelines for food safety, quality, and fair trade practices, the USDA helps harmonize global commerce and protects American consumers from substandard imports. Foreign capacity building. The USDA provides technical assistance and training to developing nations to help them improve their agricultural systems, veterinary services, and food regulatory frameworks. This work supports global food security, helps prevent the spread of animal and plant diseases across borders, and fosters potential future trading partners. Climate change cooperation. Given the immense impact of agriculture on climate and vice versa, the USDA collaborates with international scientific bodies and foreign agricultural ministries to share research and best practices for climate-smart agriculture, including carbon sequestration and water management techniques. Adapting to the future, emerging challenges. The future of the USDA is defined by its ability to adapt to unprecedented challenges driven by climate, technology, and population dynamics. The agency is strategically repositioning itself to meet the demands of the mid-21st century. Precision agriculture and data. The integration of technologies like precision agriculture, PA, which uses GPS, sensors, and data analytics to manage crops at a hyperlocalized level, is a major focus. The USDA is working to ensure rural infrastructure, like broadband, can support this data revolution and is researching the ethics and security of agricultural data ownership. Climate change mitigation and resilience. Future USDA programs will place increasing emphasis on climate resilience, developing crops and livestock that can withstand extreme weather, and mitigation, incentivizing practices that reduce greenhouse gas emissions, such as improving manure management and soil carbon capture. Biosecurity and supply chain resilience. Lessons learned from recent global crises underscore the need for enhanced biosecurity against emerging pests and diseases, both plant and animal, and for building resilient, localized food supply chains that are less susceptible to major disruptions. Equity and access. The USDA is committed to addressing historical disparities in access to capital and land ownership, focusing on outreach to underserved farmers, ranchers, and rural communities to ensure its programs are equitable and accessible to all Americans. The USDA remains the essential bridge between the American land and the American people. As it looks ahead, its success will rely on its scientific foundation, its global partnerships, and its unwavering commitment to sustainable food security for future generations. The enduring legacy, conclusion, and the future of the USDA. A comprehensive institution, reviewing the USDA's scope. The journey through the United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, reveals an institution of unparalleled scope and complexity, deeply woven into the fabric of American life. From the vast cornfields of the Midwest to the inner-city schools reliant on its nutrition programs, the USDA's influence is pervasive. It acts simultaneously as a scientist, a regulator, a banker, a steward, and an educator. The agency's structure reflects the belief that agriculture is not a single industry, but an interconnected system that requires holistic management. Section 1, Agriculture Safeguarding the Producer Through Financial Risk Management, Farm Bill, Crop Insurance. Section 2, Food Safety Protecting the Consumer Through Stringent Inspection and Public Health Nutrition Programs, FSIS, SNAP, WIC. Section 3, Conservation Protecting the National Resource Base, Soil, Water, and Forests, for Long-Term Sustainability, NRCS, Forest Service. Section 4, Rural Development Investing in the Human and Physical Capital of Non-Metropolitan Areas, Housing, Broadband, Essential Facilities. Section 5, Research Driving Continuous Innovation Through Science and the Dissemination of Knowledge, ARS, ERS, Extension. Section 6, Cooperation Managing Complex Relationships both domestically and globally to maintain stability and influence. This multifaceted mission makes the USDA unique among federal departments. It is the only agency that directly links the economic prosperity of rural communities to the daily health and dietary security of every single American citizen. The unwavering challenge of adaptation. The primary lesson derived from the USDA's history is its necessity for constant adaptation. Born from the soil erosion crisis of the 19th century and reformed by the Dust Bowl of the 20th, the USDA now faces the defining challenge of the 21st century: climate change and global food system resilience. Climate-smart agriculture. The future of the USDA is intrinsically tied to its ability to incentivize and deploy climate-smart practices. This includes leveraging the NRCS to enroll millions more acres in carbon sequestration programs, adapting crop genetics, ARS, to withstand extreme weather variability, and managing national forests, USFS, to mitigate catastrophic wildfires. The agency's financial power, through the Farm Bill, will be the central tool for driving this massive, economy-wide transition. Technological integration. The rise of precision agriculture, PA, which utilizes AI, drones, and big data, demands that the USDA upgrade its educational and lending infrastructure, rural development. The ability to use real-time data to conserve water or minimize fertilizer use is critical for both the environment and farmer profitability, requiring significant investment in rural broadband and technical training, extension. Global health crises. The agency must maintain a high state of readiness against global threats, whether they are zoonotic diseases impacting livestock or new invasive pests threatening crops. The coordination between FSIS, ARS, and FAS is paramount to ensuring that U.S. borders remain secure and that its agricultural exports are trusted globally. The enduring legacy of the People's Department. Ultimately, the USDA is sustained by its historical title, the People's Department. Its legacy is not just the stability of farm income or the safety of meat. It is the fundamental assurance that Americans have reliable access to an abundant, affordable, and safe food supply. The programs managed by the USDA are a powerful reflection of national values, representing a federal covenant to invest in the basic requirements of life, health, sustenance, shelter, and land stewardship. As the American population grows and global pressures intensify, the role of the USDA as the protector of the food ecosystem will only become more essential. Its continued success ensures the sustainability of American resources, the prosperity of rural life, and the health of the entire nation. The story of the USDA is, in effect, the ongoing story of America's relationship with its land.